Hey, thanks for tuning into the podcast. I am here with Deb Michels from Last Hope Animal Rescue. Deb, can you tell us a little bit about your background before we get started?
I actually had no background. I got divorced about 13 years ago, and I was feeling like I needed something. I'm a very big caretaker. And my daughters are twins, and they're off in college, or they were in college, now they're graduated, but I kind of was an empty nester, and I just felt like I love animals. So I decided I would try doing a kitty, and I ended up adopting him, the first foster fail. But yeah, Last Hope is a nonprofit, and they are based in Farmington. They just moved to a new location. It is still in Farmington, but it's out a little bit further. But it looks cute. I haven't been to it. I'm waiting for a grand opening for it.
Okay, awesome. Deb and I know each other through rescue animals. We got a cat from her by the name of Hazel, and Hazel unfortunately passed away a number of years ago, but she was the sweetest cat in the world, and she was very nice for our girls, and she was with us through the pandemic. So I spent a lot of time at home with her during that time when I was working from home, and just a great animal. And just animal rescue is something that my family is pretty passionate about as well. And when we were looking to get a cat that time around, we were thinking about doing a Maine Coon or a Ragdoll, and we started looking around at different breeders and things like that. And you start looking at the costs of purebred animals, and I guess that was kind of the first reason why we decided to go for a rescue. But it's just so rewarding. Our cat that was just here a second ago too is also a rescue from the outfit in Hutchinson. The name's escaping me right here at the second.
Oh
um
yeah, I know which one.
yeah, but the rescue animals definitely been rewarding for us. So my first question for you was, how did you get into animal rescue? But you kind of talked about that a little bit, so we'll move on. What's the most rewarding part about your work as somebody that fosters and rescues animals?
Yeah. So I have rescued about I have adopted personally out about 2000,
Wow.
and for 13 years. What I get emotional, but there are so many kitties and puppies that there's a fine line between a good life for them or a bad life for them. And there's so many irresponsible people that don't care. And a lot of people unfortunately don't value cats as much as dogs. So I think, and we've taken in the worst of the worst, and they are, broken jaws, broken femurs, very costly. We've had some that have eyes removed. I had a little kitten within the last year that the mom had chewed off his back feet. Um, and we don't euthanize. If they come in and they're really bad and their quality of life is going to be bad, we will euthanize at that point. But um, so that's the most rewarding thing. Sometimes I'll say no to people, but all I have to do is look at the whites of their eyes of the kitties, and it's done. There are many awful, awful people out there. They don't fix their cats. They take kitties off of Craigslist, and they're free. So they say, I don't want to pay your adoption fee. I want a free kitten. Well, so what happens is when they're done with the kitten, it's done being cute, they'll just, dump it outside. So it's free to breed and, you know, get attacked by animals. And there's just so many sickly kitties, and they're abandoned and, hit by cars or abused or whatever. So that's the most rewarding part, just to see the joy of all the thousands. I've done so many adoptions, and I've had I've had very few bad adoptions that I found out about later. But I don't know, they're all loved. All of ours are foster based. They all are in foster homes, and they're all vetted before they leave us. So, um, and a lot of times that's they've never had love before. And it's just People love it. That's my most rewarding part.
You kind of touched on this already. I was
Yeah.
going to ask you what the most difficult part of
Yeah.
it is, but obviously I'm sure you've seen some animals in some pretty horrible shape and things like
Yeah.
that, and you realize, like, how awful people can be towards animals, which is very
Yeah.
sad. One
Mhm.
thing that I always think about, we would love to foster animals or get into that, but I would have such a hard time because I would want to keep all of them. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I would think developing that bond with those foster animals and
Yeah.
then having to give them up would have, I know for me that would be very difficult.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is, but I will, a lot of times when I take in kittens, and they get to that stage where they're 6 weeks, and oh my gosh, they're so naughty, and they're scratching up stuff. And to me, I'm ready for them to go so I can take even new babies. Um, I worry a lot about my adopters. I worry about them more after they're adopted than before they're adopted. Because I almost don't feel like anybody's good enough, but we have a heavy screening process, and then I have to meet the people. I have done home visits, it's not required, but I love these animals so much. And our fosters, if they haven't done a good job for us, they're no longer with us. So, I mean, that they are dismissed or they're not invited to. So the fosters that we have are absolutely wonderful and loving, and these kitties have the best lives. And they've foster failed too.
Yeah, it's nice that you take it very seriously. It's certainly
Yeah.
appreciated, especially for those of us that are gonna, adopt one of these animals. What advice would you have for somebody that may be looking into doing the fostering thing?
I think the most rewarding thing, I mean, if somebody's looking into it, so you got to think about it. You have to be able, depending on what you take. Sometimes we get kitties that need socialization. So, if you're up for that, it helps if you have, sometimes if you have kids and they're so good, about, they love these kitties, they carry them around. Um, so, and a lot of the rescues will give you the food, and all the medical is taken care of. And if you are, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and your kitty is doing poorly, we go to the vet clinic, and there's just no question about that. Food and food and medical care is provided. And the other good thing is, if you don't want the long-term commitment of a pet, this is absolutely perfect. So you can get your kitty or puppy fix. And I've fostered a few puppies just lately, and I have 2 dogs, and so I don't want another dog. But it's so rewarding to work with them. I've taken my 2 dogs to training, and so I think that's the what I advise people, because they always say, "Oh, I don't want to. I wouldn't want to let them go." Yeah, you do. You do. You're done. Um, yeah, you're ready to have them move on to new homes, and then at that point, you can take more. Some people take a break in between. Some people, um, it's not for them. And if a person takes a kitty in and it just doesn't work out, then we ask for a little bit of notice, a couple days, and then we move them to a different foster. So it's not a, we want them to take the commitment seriously, but if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
Got it.
So, yeah.
Well, we talked a little bit about this already, in terms of cost, but what are the advantages of getting a rescue animal versus going through a breeder or maybe a pet store? I remember one of the things you told us when we got our cat from you is that you know what you're getting when you get a rescue animal. You're gonna get a cat that's spayed or neutered, it's
Mhm.
up to date on its
Yeah.
vaccinations, and so that's definitely a benefit. And then the cost
Mhm.
thing, but what are some other benefits of getting a rescue in your eyes?
Because in my eyes, if you don't, the rescue, if we don't find somebody to foster or adopt these kitties, they don't have a life. A lot of times if I can't take an animal, and we've been very full at times, and we can't take the kitty in, you know what? And it might be a death sentence for them. So that's and it is for a kitten, it's 275, but I'm telling you, by the time you get vet care, they get their 2 shots, they get spayed or neutered. We do not let them go um without it. So and as I said before, that if you do, Craigslist, oh, but this kitten is free, um, it's not free. I mean, it is free if you don't want to vet it. And there are people who, even with our kitties, that they do the initial vetting through us and then they don't ever vet again. Um, but at least they get that initial care.
Sure. What should a person do if they or someone they know has an animal and for whatever reason it's simply just not working out? If
Yeah.
it doesn't get along with kids or a spouse, or it's clawing things
Mhm.
up, or
Right.
you're
Yep.
having bathroom issues and it's just simply not going to work. What
Yeah.
do you do?
You contact a rescue. You can contact Last Hope. You can Any rescue for the most part will take the kitty. If the kitty was adopted, like let's say your kitty, like Hazel, if you would have started having issues with her, we want you to call us back. We want her back because once a Last Hope kitty, always a Last Hope kitty. But yeah, so what you would do is you have that person call us. Pictures help. If we have a website that if somebody, we do a courtesy post. So, and though that person doesn't have to they don't have to charge an adoption fee, but what we ask for is, just a donation to Last Hope. So they do their own adoptions. Normally we want them up to date with their vaccines. Um, but we don't want that kitty to be in a bad home. If the kitties aren't wanted, they're not going to get taken care of. They don't get the attention that they need. A lot of them, in mobile home parks, the people move, leave them behind, apartments, houses. They'll just put them out. So that's my take on. I'm very strong about that too.
Yeah, absolutely. You hear stories about a person that gets the friendly stray cat that keeps showing up, and if that happens to you, and maybe you're not in a position where you can
Mhm,
take the cat in, but you do have a
mhm,
friendly stray that's coming by, what's the right
mhm.
thing to do in that situation? Kind of maybe the same thing. You can contact the
Yep.
shelter, or
Mhm. Yep. Many people, so if they get a stray that's coming around, people say, well, I can't bring it into my house because I have a cat or I have a dog or this or that. What we like is if they can take it into their house. If we don't have room, then if they can take the kitty and put it in a bathroom with food and water, litter box, and then as soon as there's a foster surrender form on our website, and almost all rescues have that. So if you like I'm a contact of yours, so you could definitely, and I get many people who contact me and say, hey, I adopted a kitty from you, and I have this friend who has a kitty that keeps showing up at their house. Just call a rescue and just tell them, like your kitty that you adopted, call that rescue and just say, hey, I adopted this kitty, great kitty. I have this person who's on a farm, and they don't want the kitties. They don't value the kitties. The kitties are skinny and sickly. Just call a rescue, a contact at a rescue. Most people are absolutely wonderful. The one I love about Last Hope is we have somebody who answers the phone 24/7. Many rescues, you have to leave a message. But Last Hope is really great. There's 2 cat coordinators. I right now, December 31st, I told him I needed a little break because it's so emotional. I'd been doing it for 13 years. I did a lot of running around. My own animals, my dogs would look at me like, can I have a walk anytime soon? Because I was just so busy running around. Yeah, and I also, and now I have my permit to do wildlife rescue. So I've been doing little baby squirrels, and it's just kind of a little, there's no pressure there versus kitties and puppies. So squirrels, when they get to a certain age, you turn it over to a different rehabber, they release. And if one of them passes, one passes. I think your kitties and puppies, you get so invested in them.
Understandable. Can you tell us a little bit more about Last Hope? We've already covered a lot here, but
Mhm.
where can people see these animals that are up for
Yeah,
adoption? I know you guys once in a while have animals in
yeah,
PetSmart locations and things.
yeah.
And what's the organization up to right now? And how can people maybe help out if this is something that they're passionate about too?
So always supplies, always, always, always supplies, cat food, dog food, baby kitten food, even a gift card, Amazon, or we have adoption events. We used to have them every Saturday, but we don't, since COVID, we don't do that anymore. We have the dogs are I think it's the second Saturday of each month, and then cats are 2 weeks later. And that's at Apple Valley Petco. We have them on our website. We have them um, on the website. And then there again, if you have a contact or you call a cat coordinator at an organization and you say, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for an older cat. I'm looking for a cat that has special needs. The cat coordinators or rescue people know what so some kitties don't do well at adoption events. Some adults, some kittens don't do it. They've never been out of a home. But so when I get calls like that, I'll refer them on. I know a foster who has 6 baby kittens and the mama. And so I'll just refer that person who's looking. I would refer them to one of my fosters. And our fosters are wonderful. I've become friends with many. They go above and beyond. So yeah, donations are wonderful. Fostering is wonderful. It really helps. We do have a foster application online, and we do call them and we make sure that they have the proper facilities. Um, we interview them make sure it's a good home. Make sure that they're getting taken care of, make sure, what are their circumstances? Do they have little kids? Do they have other pets? Sometimes we're looking for kittens that have little like if it's a cat that needs socialization, kids are the best. They're the best at socializing our kitties. We have fosters who specialize in that. We have fosters who specialize in special needs. Um, and all of them need homes. So that's even if somebody could take a kitty into their home for 2 weeks, it helps us out so much.
Awesome. Deb, thanks so much for sitting down and doing
Yeah,
this. Hopefully we brought some more attention and
yeah,
put some positive light on the adoption thing. And like I said, for
okay,
us, it's definitely been rewarding. It's something we plan to continue doing, and we're
yeah,
gonna
wonderful,
continue to support your organization and Heart of Minnesota and Hutchinson as well, and
wonderful.
as much as
They
we can. So
yeah, we have our website is www.last-hope.org.
okay,
We also have a Facebook page. It's under
okay,
Last Hope, based out of Farmington, and we have some really good articles. There's a newsletter that comes out. We have good articles. We might feature a kitty. And almost they always get adopted because we've brought them to people's attention.
awesome. Well, thanks so much
So
for the work you're doing. It's
thank
certainly
you.
appreciated. All
No,
right.
thank you so much. Okay.
Have a
Bye.
good rest of your day.
You
Thank you.
too. Thank you. Bye-bye.